in Hinesville this evening, where Bradwell Institute hosted unbeaten Statesboro, the #1 team in the Super 11, Ken.
Yeah, going into the stadium tonight, a lot of folks down in Hinesville were saying, well, did you come down here for the slaughter? They were expecting Bradwell to get beat. After all, Statesboro came into this game averaging 24 points a game. Well, have we got a surprise for you? Let's take you down to Hinesville and show you the highlights in this very cold game down in Hinesville, Georgia. First quarter, Sultan Cooper, quarterback, did it all night. Checks off the line of scrimmage, calls the option left, turns it up, 7-0 Bradwell with 4:02 left in the first quarter. Cooper had a great game tonight, threw the ball well. Check out this run here. Option right, cuts it up, 40 yards on the game. Stayed that way as 7-0 through the first half, as Bradwell at the intermission led at 7-0, but here's the big play in the third quarter on defense. 4th and 1, Bradwell holds and keeps the momentum in this game. With 1:35 left in the third, Cooper gives it to little Johnny Bethany, muscles his way up the middle, 14-0 Bradwell. Bethany had 168 yards rushing tonight. Your final on this one, 14-0. Statesboro was held to 109 total yards. So it's got to be one of the biggest surprises this year. All the games had to be finished off this year to see who was going where in the playoffs. And, of course, Statesboro now has to go on the road. They might as well call this one the mother of all games in Southeast Georgia, too, because they have to travel to Effingham County, a team they beat earlier this year. Tough place to play against the Rebels. Of course, Bradwell, they're hosting Beach, and that exciting battle next week. And of course, we're going to be all over the place next week as well.
Now, Ken, the Bradwell defense had to play a superb game.
Well, you take Statesboro comes into this game, 24 yards per game average, scoring that many points. Todd Stewart had a little bit of an off night, didn't get a lot of help from his offensive line. Statesboro just didn't look like the same team.
Did the cold have something to do with that, maybe?
Pardon me, Rick?
Did the cold have something to do with that, maybe?
I hate to say that because it was cold for both teams, Rick.
That's right. Sure was.
So it was really tough. Mitch, it was a big battle down there, and we said we're going to have to wait till the last week to find out who goes where. And, of course, we were right. We thought we knew all along, but it's going to be a real tough one next week as we get underway.
All right, our Ken Greiner in the newsroom tonight, and he was in Hinesville where Bradwell upset Statesboro. And I guess that means that the Effingham County Rebels probably think they're #1 now, huh?
I think it's going to have to maybe be a tie or something, because 10-1 and 9-1 and 9-1, two great teams. Credit Ross New and the Bradwell Tigers, folks. They start off 1-3. They finish the season unbelievably strong. They finish at 6-4 now.
And in the playoffs.
That's right. Sub-region champs. They won the games they needed to win. They end up 4-1 in the sub-region, tied with Statesboro, but they beat Statesboro, so Statesboro finishes second in the sub-region. But get this, they win next week. They're region champs. I think eventually what we're going to have to do is just go to a region schedule, throw the sub-regions away, and let's let the top 4 or 4 teams go. Get rid of this sub-region stuff, but that's at a later date. Savannah High went into their game tonight. High hopes. They had no idea that Bradwell would knock them out with a win. They thought maybe Bradwell would win. They had a chance to make the playoffs. Unfortunately, no one was there. Don't tell Groves that. Keith Swinson, on the second play of the game, hits Maurice Bing for 37 yards to the 1. 2 plays later, big, and I mean big Earl Brown plunges in. 7-0. Groves leads this early. It was cold. It was raining. It was miserable for Savannah High early. But quarterback Darrell Newton, watch this strike. Right on the money to big, bad Sammy Martin. That ties the game up, 7 apiece. And Tommy Macon had some advice for his defense.
Option. They come in option this time. Option. Yeah.
Well, the High was pumped, and they read this perfectly. They shut him down, and it was tied 7-all in the half. Then, in the third quarter, 4th and 15, Newton hits Guy Hodge, a gutsy call. A first down at the Rebel 13. 3 plays later, Made Lewis scampers around the end for 6 yards in the score. 13-7 the High. They missed the extra point. Didn't matter to the crowd. They were excited. In the fourth, watch Maurice Bing return this punt. Nearly fumbled it. Look at him break the tackles. He's still going for 30 yards inside the 30-yard line. 7 plays later, Keith sneaks it in on the keeper. Tying the game at 13 with about 7 minutes to play. Jason Roundtree's PAT splits the uprights. Groves leads 14-13. Don't go away. The High on the move. Less than 4 minutes to go. Newton goes for it all. It is intercepted. Groves holds. Tommy Macon would have one last shot with 1:31 to go. He brings in Demekus Bryant, who throws for the home run and comes up short. Brian Young intercepts it, makes a nice return. It was academic after that point, folks, as Groves wins, knocking Savannah High off tonight, 14-13. Definitely the agony of defeat for Savannah High.
Absolutely, and we have a lot more ahead here on the High School Football Scoreboard Show coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned.
Think of these greenback stamps from Piggly Wiggly as Santa's helpers, because if you save them, they can get you great deals on Christmas presents, like
the Rival Hand Mixer, only 4.5 books of greenback stamps.
And think of these greenback stamps as incredible cash saver specials on groceries, like
White Cloud bathroom tissue, 9 cents with 2 cash savers, or Seal Test ice cream, 99 cents with 3 cash savers.
greenback stamps from Piggly Wiggly as Santa's helpers?
why not? They're little, they're red and green. It could work.
My customers keep telling me, Tony, you gotta try Hardee's new subs. They're even better than yours. We'll see. Give me your best sub.
Okay, start with a nice roll. Add Swiss, roast beef, turkey, and ham, fresh tomatoes, onions, and lettuce.
Hardee's introduces 4 big, delicious deli subs.
Hey, Tony, great sub, huh? Oh, sorry, Tony.
Deli subs, now at Hardee's.
With the highest resale value in its class and proven Honda reliability, the Accord truly is a safe place to put your money.
It's game 1 of the semifinals in the Jeopardy! $100,000 Tournament of Champions.
I just know you're going to have a good time in this half hour.
Mental wizards Jim, Mark, and Leslie won't beat around the bush on these categories.
Dan Quayle, modern history, and finally, we have some 4-letter birds.
Who will go on to the finals? Watch the Jeopardy! $100,000 Tournament of Champions. It's as much fun as you think.
Monday night at 7:30 on WTOC.
And we have a lot more for you here on the WTOC High School Football Scoreboard Show. Some important games that we've already talked about, Mitch, and some games just kind of winding up the season.
That's right. And, you know, the Beach Bulldogs were in the playoffs going into tonight's clash. But it's a pride builder, and, of course, the team they were playing would have loved to beat them.
And the Bulldogs trying to get a little momentum as they played at Garden City Stadium against the Jenkins Warriors tonight. And small crowd on a cool evening. In the second quarter, Beach has the ball at their only home 47. Rodney Bowen goes down the left side 35 yards all the way to the Jenkins 12-yard line. Just moments later at the 4-yard line, Brown goes in for the touchdown to make it 7-0 Bulldogs, and they go on to win this one easily 34-3 to wind up the regular season at 7-3.
Let's head out to Savannah State's Wright Stadium, where there was basically no one to see this game as Windsor took on Johnson to close out the season. Johnson trying to rally at the end of the game. They get some good yardage here, but they just came up way short tonight. Wonderball comes out on top in this one. 14-10 over Johnson tonight. Windsor Forest finishes up the season very nicely, 6-4 on the year. Unfortunately, 2-3 in sub-region play.
All right, let's check out the scoreboard now in Quad A, and you see that surprising ball game in Hinesville. Bradwell Institute getting into the playoffs by shutting out previously unbeaten Statesboro 14-0, and Groves knocks off Savannah High 14-13. That was in sub-region A.
In other games, you just saw Windsor Forest knocking off Johnson tonight 14-10. A big pride game tomorrow for BC as they take on Effingham County. Effingham really needs to win that game if they have hopes of the overall region championship.
And one other game, non-sub-region, Beach beat Jenkins, and Glynn Academy and Brunswick took the week off. And that's a look at the Quad A. We have much more and some very, very big ball games in Single A coming up in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Kevin Cohen for Chatham Furniture. Day in and day out, we guarantee the lowest prices in Savannah. And here are this week's certified best buys. This all-wood 4-piece bedroom suit, only $4.95. This living room suit, both pieces, only $4.98. Easy terms, low prices, free delivery, and the friendliest service anywhere. So shop Chatham Furniture before these savings disappear.
Shop Chatham Furniture on Abercorn and our new location in the Kmart Shopping Center.
4 of Savannah's top dealers are teaming up to beat high prices. It's the Big 4 Car Show and Sale. Bob Maddox Chrysler Plymouth, Savannah Toyota, Southern Motors Honda Jeep Eagle Acura, and Fuller Oldsmobile tackling high prices. Location, Savannah Mall. 4 days of winning savings. The Big 4 Car Show and Sale. Hundreds and hundreds of cars, trucks, and vans. The best imports, the best domestics. The Big 4 Car Show and Sale. This weekend at Savannah Mall.
Creations in silk. Start dreaming in color of vivid and bright. Imagine the shades, the dark and the light. We're just what you thought we would be. Just what you hoped you would say. Through love. Creations in silk.
This Sunday at 6:30, let WTOC take you to Moultrie, Georgia for the 1991 Sunbelt Ag Expo. Jim Hildebrandt leads the way in a tour of farming's most recent advances, new techniques for the 21st century, and the fun and excitement of a huge country fair. If you couldn't be there, you gotta be here. Sunday night at 6:30 on WTOC.
And back on the WTOC High School Football Scoreboard Show, Mitch, about 3 weeks ago, we had it down to Glenville and Treutlen County in 3A West for the sub-region championship, and they would meet in the last game of the season to decide the sub-region championship.
Then along came Metter.
Yeah.
Like a freight train. Knocked both of them off.
Isn't that something?
It was unbelievable.
And now they had to play great records, ranked statewide, but they were playing for a playoff berth tonight out in Soperton. And we take you out there where the Glenville Bulldogs were battling to make a playoff berth. Head coach Dick Williams' Vikings went into the game with a 7-2 record, 3-1, while the Bulldogs were 8-1 overall. Now, Treutlen got on the scoreboard first after quarterback Junior Sneed passes to Fuente Kinsey for the touchdown. And the point after touchdown is good. It was 7-0, Treutlen County. Now the Bulldogs come back as the home crowd is looking on, and a drive going with a pitch from quarterback Terrence Dinkins to Roderick King. Look at this yardage. Just as the second quarter begins, as they change ends of the field, they do the same thing. Dinkins pitches to King, and he goes in for the touchdown. Now it's 7-6. Glenville got a lucky break with the Vikings offside on the kick, half the distance to the goal line, so they go for the 2 points, and they make it. 8-7 Glenville. But then the Vikings take advantage of Glenville's almost prevent defense the rest of the game and decide to run it instead of passing, and in fact they do a very good job on the ground to win it. 26-8 tonight, and they'll go on to the playoffs.
The question in Reedsville tonight, who would kiss the pig? Or rather, how many people would kiss the pig? Yeah, you saw it. Yuck.
Yeah.
The game wasn't much prettier early on than the pig, but there were some good hits, like that one. Mentor led it 7-6 at the half and picked things up right where they left off to start quarter number 3. Juan Johnson gets the call and breaks this one up the middle. 49 yards on the scamper, finally brought down at Reidsville 17. On the next play, Rico Coney winds his way into the end zone, diving in for the touchdown. 14-6, Metter leads. Then, Metter's Kevin Wadley, after an interception of an errant pass, Barry Booth throws for a score for the Metter Tigers as they beat Reidsville tonight, 21-6. 21-14 was the final make it. Reidsville, well, the hunting season to look forward to. Not a good season, 3-7 overall.
At Saunders Field tonight, Calvary Baptist was taking on Country Day in the middle of the third quarter. Calvary up 10-7 when Patrick Page pitches to David Glisson, who breaks 4 tackles. Look at this run, folks, and gets pulled down 38 yards later as he just keeps going. What a run. Then Page coming up on the next play, hands off to Scott Jolliffe, who goes in for the score to make it 17-7, and Calvary goes on to win this one 24-7 over Country Day.
Let's take a look at the single-A scores. Glenville, a loser tonight to Treutlen County. Unfortunately, Glenville will not be going to the playoffs. They had such a great year. They lose to Treutlen tonight, 26-8. Treutlen goes to the playoffs. Next week, they travel to take on Bryan County.
And instead of Junior Sneed throwing, it was Lance Wilcher running 186 yards and a touchdown.
All right, other scores, it was Savannah Christian losing to Bryan County 25-12 tonight. Keith Conley had another good night, 10 of 18, 183 yards, 3 more touchdown passes as the Redskins continue to roll. They host Treutlen next week, and there you see Southeast Bullock knocking off McIntosh. 35-20, Southeast travels to take on Metter next week.
And Metter, you just saw, they beat Reidsville. Montgomery County shutting out Wheeler County tonight. It was Portal over Johnson County by 20 points, and ECI pulls out a 7-0 win at Rennes, while Richmond Hill and Jenkins, they took the week off.
All right, and other scores in AA, we see Jeff Davis a winner tonight, 21-6 over Telfair. It was Vidalia knocking off Claxton, 28-14.
And it was Screven County losing to Bleckley County. Now, Bleckley County, Swainsboro, and Screven County are tied for the 4th and final playoff berth in that region. Jeff Davis is in, along with East Lawrence and West Lawrence. East Lawrence, obviously, the champs of that region, with a 27-21 win over West Lawrence tonight.
Big game there. In AAA, it was Appling County all over Dodge, 27-6. While the Yellow Jackets of Wayne County finished the season with a week off.
And don't go away. We have much more here on the WTOC High School Football Scoreboard Show in just a moment.
My customers keep telling me, Tony, you gotta try Hardy's new subs. They're even better than yours. We'll see. Give me your best sub.
Okay, start with a nice roll. Add Swiss, roast beef, turkey, and ham, fresh tomatoes, onions, and lettuce.
Hardee's introduces 4 big delicious deli subs.
Hey, Tony, great sub, huh? Oh, sorry, Tony.
Deli subs, now at Hardee's.
The Pig can save you $3.89 with coupons like the 8-ounce Piggly Wiggly sliced cooked ham. Delicious. And only 99 cents with coupons, save $1. In our Fresh Advantage produce department, save 50 cents on the 3-pound bag of yellow onions. Just 79 cents with coupon. Get it free at the Pig. A dozen large Piggly Wiggly eggs free with coupons. Save 89 cents. In the deli, pick up the 8-piece box of chicken. Only $4.99 with coupons. Save $1. And wipe up with Scott paper towels. 2 for only $1. Save 50 cents. Save $3.89 on these and much more at the Pig.
It's Wheel of Fortune round the world. Come with Pat and Vanna to Disney World, where they'll take you on a fun-filled international adventure to see how wheel translates into fun in Greece, Holland, Portugal, and a dozen other countries. Enjoy duty-free shopping, experience new cultures, and watch the fun multiply as Pat and Vanna meet 15 global Pats and Vannas. Don't miss it for the world.
Wheel of Fortune, weeknights at 7 on WTOC.
Tonight, on a very special Arsenio Hall show, Irvin Magic Johnson begins to share a courageous message with his loyal fans. Yesterday, the world was shocked by his sudden announcement of retirement from the NBA. And tonight, he explains his exposure to the HIV virus and what it means to us all. A special visit with two close friends, Magic Johnson and Arsenio Hall, tonight.
And back here on the WTOC High School Football Scoreboard Show, and tonight, Mitch, over in the Low Country, the private schools started their playoffs.
That's right. Thomas Hayward Academy, always in the playoffs. Last 3 years, they've made it to the state championship game. This year, they think they're going to get over the top and win it. Let's head over to Ridgeland, where they were hosting Williamsburg Academy, who intercepts Thomas Hayward early in the game, but the Rebels would shut him down. Thomas Hayward in the first half. Quarterback Jimmy Carroll hands it off to Travis Reynolds, who is off to the races, folks. Count him, 80 yards and the touchdown. Look at him just pull away at the end. Those wind sprints and two-a-days do pay off. The crowd was loving it. They're up early and lead this one big. Then after a fumble recovery, another touchdown. Thomas Hayward gets it to Jimmy Masters, who will scoop up. The ball was bouncing the right way. He gets in for the touchdown. They go for two. They get two. And Thomas Hayward goes on to win this game tonight, 31-0.
And it was a nice crowd over there in Ridgeland for that one. And Thomas Hayward will host the semifinal game next Friday night. Meanwhile, look what Hilton Head did. They beat Burke tonight. That put them in a three-way tie for their region championship, along with, as we check the next scores, Beaufort, a winner, and we know Stall beat Battery Creek to get into that three-way tie. Nobody called in the score, but we know there's a three-way tie. Mitch, this means a shootout between Hilton Head, Beaufort, and Stall tomorrow night.
And it's really an interesting concept because each team will get equal opportunities from the 10-yard line to try and take it in. All three teams will participate. 7 o'clock coin toss at Hilton Head Field tomorrow night.
All right, one other playoff score. Patrick Henry beat Richard Wynn tonight in 2AA, and it was Bamberg beating Jasper County to close out the season. Jasper County ends their season at 2-8.
Let's check the GISA, where Memorial, a big winner tonight, 20-6 over Pinewood Christian. They're now 7-3 on the season and should get into the playoffs, while Bullock Academy takes it on the chin to David Emanuel, 28-6.
All right, and you were talking about that shootout over at Hilton Head, 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
It's going to be, it's very interesting because the way all three teams come out, they all call it, and the two teams that win the original coin toss go at it first. The loser takes on the person who lost the coin toss. It's double elimination. It's crazy, but it happens tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
And round robin, and somebody eventually will wind up as the region champions. Now, as we do every week here on the High School Football Scoreboard Show, we take a look at the college games scheduled for tomorrow. Mitch Glicken talked with Irk Russell, who gives us the view off the top of his head.
Off the top of my head with Irk Russell, brought to you by your Southeast Georgia Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Off the Top of My Head. Mitch Glicken along with Irk Russell at Snookies. And last week, Coach, not a bad week, 7-3-1.
Mitch, that's not bad, but I'm disappointed that I missed all my Georgia teams. I only picked Georgia Tech. Georgia Southern got beat by 2. Savannah State won by 2. And the Falcons on that Hail Mary won by 3. But the head is a lot clearer today. And I think we've got some real good winners, so let's get on with it.
All right, we'll hear about those winners, including the big Florida-Georgia matchup, right after this.
Buy. Don't buy. Buy. Don't buy.
If you've been swinging back and forth, let go. It's Chevy truck time. Cash back and option savings on new 92 full-size pickup, up to $3,400. 92 Chevy, S10 Tahoe, Air, and more, 10-209 after rebate. At your Southeast Georgia Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Why don't you go see it? I'll guarantee you, you'll be glad you did.
Welcome back to Off the Top of My Head. And Irk, this week, good luck. Person joins us at the table.
This is my friend, Bruce. Bruce Young. He said any dummy can pick them as well as I. So I've asked him for some help.
All right, Coach, you know what everyone's talking about is Georgia Southern. What kind of realistic playoff shot do they have?
realistically pretty slim, I think, but stranger things have happened. If we win impressively our next 2 games and get some help from some of the other teams losing who are ranked ahead of us, I think there's a chance. And as long as there's a chance, that's all we've ever asked around here is an opportunity to play just one more time, and I think we're going to have it.
Irk, Bill Davis's crew finds himself in another must-win situation. This week, the Tigers travel to Fort Valley State.
You know, I meant to pick Savannah State against Central Florida last week, and I didn't do it. They had a very good win over Central Florida, but I'm going to go back to Savannah State. They will beat Fort Valley this week.
Irk, what about the game of the week? Has to be the SEC clash when Florida takes on Georgia.
I believe this is going to be a heck of a game. I've always wanted to go to a Georgia-Florida game, and this might be my opportunity. I think it'll be a high-scoring game. The Georgia people everywhere will be happy to hear my prediction because I'm going to pick the Gators to win in a high-scoring game. And that's from the head, not from the heart.
We should note that every time Irk picks the Dogs to lose, they win. Absolutely. All right, the Tennessee travels and takes on Notre Dame. That's not going to be easy.
This is my upset special of the week. Notre Dame will be favored at home to win the game, but I believe Tennessee has the kind of offense that will give Notre Dame some problems, and I'm picking Tennessee to beat Notre Dame at home in a close game.
Coach, earlier this year, you said if you'd ever gone back to coaching, it'd be at Vanderbilt because you think it could be done. It looks like they're getting it done this year.
Vandy has won 4 games, and I believe against Kentucky this week at home, Vanderbilt will make it number 5. They've come a long way. They're doing well. It'll be Vandy over Kentucky.
Irk, what about some of the best of the rest this week?
Alabama will beat LSU in Baton Rouge, but it might not be easy. North Carolina State will beat Virginia, and that'll be close. Clemson will beat North Carolina, and that will be close. Duke will beat Wake Forest, and that won't be too close. And Florida State will beat South Carolina, and I'm afraid that won't be too close either. And then the Redskins will beat the Falcons, I believe. I missed on the Falcons last week. I don't believe that the game will boil down to a Hail Mary in the last 4 or 5 seconds, so I'm going to pick the Redskins. Mitch, that's our picks for this week. I doubt seriously if there's a loser in the whole bunch. And don't forget, see a high school football game this weekend. I'll guarantee you, you'll be glad you did.
All right, Eric, and so far in the season, the coach finds himself 87, 32-3, and we'll see you next week on Off the Top of My Head.
Off the Top of My Head with Irk Russell, brought to you by your Southeast Georgia Chevrolet Geo dealers.
He picked the Gators over the Dogs, huh?
Reverse psychology.
Yeah.
Every time he picks them to win, they lose, so he picked them to lose, and the Heart's hoping they'll win.
Maybe it'll be another Buckbaloo to Lindsey Scott, right?
I'm telling you what, don't underestimate the Dogs against Florida. Everyone's saying Florida's going to kill them. No way. It's going to be a good, close game.
Well, on paper, Florida probably should, but they don't play the game on paper.
I'm telling you what, Georgia's loaded talent-wise.
All right. Let's go back and check the Quad A scores once again in Subregion A. There's the surprise. Bradwell shutting out Statesboro 14-0 tonight. Bradwell is in the playoffs. Statesboro drops to number 2 in the sub-region and will have to go to Effingham County next Friday night. Groves, they slipped by Savannah High by 1.
Sure did, and Beach will go and take on Bradwell next week at Bradwell. They host a game. Windsor Forest closes out the season on a high note, 14-10. Effingham plays BC tomorrow night.
All right, and in a non-sub-region game, it was Beach over. Jenkins and Glynn Academy and Brunswick had the week off. And that's a look at the WTOC High School Football Scoreboard Show, and we'll be back, of course, next week with the first round of the playoffs. For Mitch Glicken, I'm Rick Snow. Have a good week, everyone.